Okay, well, thank you. It's great to be here. This has really been really well run. I mean, the NCAA has done an incredible job of organizing this, and it's just been such a well-organized process, and obviously necessary process to get to where we can play. Um, we're used to kind of this kind of thing anyway, but it's a long week, but uh, we've kind of navigated through it, and I think we're certainly ready to go. We've had a practice yesterday, practice tonight, and players have had the opportunity to lift and do some other things, to go for a walk. So I think we're in a good place right now, and looking forward to playing in this tournament.
Thank you, Coach. A reminder to media to please state your full name and media outlet before asking your question, and we'll start with Mario, please.
Mario Sacco, News Channel 9. Coach, you touched on it there, but logistical-wise, for you to get your team prepared, any challenges as far as that's concerned, as far as getting your team prepared for Friday's game?
No, not at all. We had, we were able to get a good practice in Monday morning in Syracuse before we left. And then, quarantined for the 24-hour period and had a good practice Tuesday night. So we didn't miss a day of practice. And, we had good practices prior to that. So, I mean, it's, we're getting there. We'll be ready Friday.
Next question from Mike Waters.
Mike Waters of Syracuse.com. Jim, I was wondering if we could take you back to the fall of 2012 when you played the game against San Diego State on the aircraft carrier. Any memories of that game stand out?
It was an unbelievable experience. It was a beautiful day. And, we walked up onto the ship, and it just was so pretty. I've never seen anything prettier. I've got a picture with Steve Fisher and me, and it's just one of the best pictures I've ever seen. But when the game started, the wind picked up a little bit, and we made a three early. I think C.J. Fair made one, and so we got a little bit of a lead, but then the wind picked up more, and, you really couldn't make a shot. And we had a big advantage. We're playing zone, so they had to shoot some from the perimeter. We made it. We were the tightest zone we've ever played. We had 5 guys back in the paint, and you couldn't make free throws or three-point field goals. And we got a few drives to the basket, and that's how we won the game. You just couldn't shoot. It was probably an 8-10 mile an hour wind. I guess that's all it takes. You just could not. You could see the ball blow off course on the way to the basket. And it was a perfectly beautiful, sunshiny day, but you couldn't make anything. You really couldn't.
Next question from Matt Park.
That was actually going to be my question, but Coach, could you just go back on your relationship with Coach Fisher? And this is a little unique because it's the same lineage with Coach Dutcher being with him so long.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Coach Fisher, for so long. I mean, back with him and Bill Frieder were at Michigan, and we've been good friends for a long time. We've been on Nike trips together for at least 25 years now, maybe 30. And, we play cards on the trip and, spent a lot of time together. He did an amazing job building that program at San Diego, and Coach Dutcher is taking it even to another level. I mean, they had arguably one of the best 3 or 4 teams in the country last year, and this year they're right there again. Really, really good basketball team, and they've established a great program. They have great players, and it's no accident that they're where they're at. But yeah, I mean, I've known Coach Fisher forever, and you know, we're real good friends and got a lot of history together.
Next question from Stephen Bailey.
Stephen Bailey with 24/7 Sports. Jim, I wanted to ask about three-point defense going into the San Diego State game, something you guys did pretty well to close the year. What are you kind of emphasizing in practice as far as trying to take that away from them? And then how do lineups with Jesse in the middle either help you or hurt you in regard to defending the outside shot?
Well, Jesse really doesn't have an effect on the three-point shooting defense. He helps our inside defense, but they're a well-balanced team. They can score inside and outside. You know, they can hurt you on the boards, they can hurt you in the post area, and they shoot the ball with multiple guys from the three-point line. That's always a dangerous team to play against. They have a couple guys that really shoot it well, but they have other guys that shoot it good enough. So it's really, you can't really focus on one guy or two. You have to play good perimeter defense overall, and but they can hurt you inside as well. They've got great size. They rebound it. They're a complete basketball team. They don't have weaknesses when you watch tape of them. They can score inside or outside, and they're really a good defensive team, a good rebounding team. They're a tremendous challenge for anybody. That's why they won 14 straight games, and why they, over 2 years, I think got the second best record in college basketball, I think, next to Gonzaga. So, tremendous challenge, and we know that going in.
Next question is from Matt Lodinsky, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name.
Thank you, Matt Majinski, College Basketball Review. Coach, a lot of players are tweeting out with the hashtag not NCAA Property as they continue to push towards equal representation as college athletes. I'm just wondering if you've heard about this and just your thoughts on players taking this bubble atmosphere as an opportunity to come together for this cause.
Well, I haven't. I'm for all players getting the NIL, the rights, to be able to use their rights. I mean, immediate transfer are two things coming, and it's just when you're waiting on the federal government to do something, it's difficult, to say the least. They've been trying to pass immigration reform for 30 years or more that I can remember, and haven't got it done yet. So I think somehow we've got to get this done, the NIL thing, and so it's good for everybody. You can't have each state making rules. We need to make the rules, whether it's the government or whether it's the NCAA, and players will get their rights, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, there could be all kinds of crazy things that happen, but it's what it is. Let's go ahead, move forward, and see what they are, and then try to deal with them at the time. But I think it's got to happen, and players transferring right away, playing right away. And I mean, I know you've seen a limited thing in the football where there's a lot of guys that are in the portal who didn't get a place to go. I think in basketball that could happen. There's going to be so many guys in there, but I think that everybody will find a place. But it'll be free agency almost in some cases this summer. You could be looking at any number of guys. Well, there's always transfers. They're usually guys that aren't playing, and they, maybe it's good for them to go someplace, to try to get to play, although sometimes you transfer and you don't play right away. You don't get to play right away. But again, we'll see how this all works out, and, but I think players, this is the future. This is what's going to happen in college basketball, and I think at the end of the day, these things, you figure out how to work them out as a coach, as a program, and you move forward.
Next question from Mark Larson.
Hey, Coach. Mark Larson, Spectrum. You said last time we talked that your team was going to be a good tournament team for sure. What made you say that? What makes this team in
Well-
your mind, a team that could do something?
Well, I've never heard a coach say his team was going to be a bad tournament team, Mark. So, yeah, I think we have a good team, and that means I think we can play well in the tournament. But there's no coach in the tournament that I've ever heard in all the years I've been doing this saying, well, we're really not good enough. We're not really a good tournament team. I mean, what that means is I think we're playing good enough to win. It happens to be in a tournament, so you're facing new teams and teams that maybe haven't seen a lot of zone, but even that doesn't really matter. I've seen teams that have not played against the zone at all, and their first 8 or 10 games they play against us and play great against our zone. So you just never know with that. But I think we're playing well. I think we've got a number of offensive weapons. We have different guys that can hurt you. We don't depend on one guy. San Diego State's like that as well. That's why they're a difficult team to play. And I think our defense has gotten better. It's still, I mean, we're certainly not going to fool anybody into thinking we're a great defensive team, but we've gotten better. And, I think that's what it takes to win in a tournament. So I guess to answer your question, I think we're ready to play in this tournament, and we're capable of playing well.
Next question is from Nico.
Hey, Coach, Nico from CBS 5, NBC3. And I know you've said it a couple of times now, just how proud you are of the team and the way they rallied down the stretch. The turnaround that you saw there, I mean, I'm not trying to compare it to any year, but just how special was that, remarkable that, they won those games down the stretch you all did and were able to play at this level after struggling a bit, after some of the pauses and illnesses and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a place where we had to play. I mean, obviously we had to win a couple games. I mean, if we'd have been able to play the Florida State game and the Louisville game, we might have had 2 big wins under our belt, and we might have been in a better position, but we didn't get to play those games. And the other side of that coin is you might not have won those games. So, we were in a position coming into North Carolina, which, first of all, they were a good team. But second of all, we've had no success against North Carolina, home or away. They've been too big for us, and they've just outplayed us pretty much. And other than a couple games that were pretty close, I think one at home, a couple down at North Carolina, even this year at North Carolina, we had no success against them. And to win that game was a huge win in my mind. That was a really, really tough game to win. I mean, you can look at Virginia Tech and say, well, they're better than North Carolina this year. They finished higher in the league, and we had them down 26. But, North Carolina has been a problem for us. Clemson game, we played really well. North Carolina State, you have to remember North Carolina State's beat us 3 or 4 times in a row. I don't know the exact number, but they beat us a lot the last 3 years, and I don't remember beating them. So to beat them the 3 times that we did was really, I mean, it was great. I mean, and I just can't overstate some of the things this team has done. And I think, when you're in a league like we're in, especially the last couple years, it's very hard to get to the top of the league. It's very hard. And I give Virginia so much credit because they've been able to do it. And, Duke and North Carolina are great programs, and they've slipped a little bit. And that's college basketball. But to just see, how difficult it is, and it really is something to be in the tournament, to get into this tournament. You can criticize and say, well, you should be better, you should win these games, more games, but it's difficult in college basketball today. And there's no better example out there than a program like Duke or Kentucky, and last year North Carolina. These are the 3, probably, if you rated programs in the country, they'd be 1, 2, and 3. And, they're not, would not have been in the tournament last year, and they're not in it this year. It's not, it used to be a given. If you were pretty good, you were in the tournament. And you really almost took it for granted. And you expected actually to win a couple games. I mean, I don't know how many times. I think we've been to the Sweet 16, 17 or 18 times. And I don't think we really thought about it. I know maybe fans anyway, but I know I didn't. I figured, like, yeah, we need to get to the Sweet 16. And it's changed. College basketball has changed. It's just more difficult to do. You have to be really happy to be able to get into the tournament and have a chance. And I mean, anything can happen in this tournament. You can play really well and get beat. You can play pretty good in a game and you can win. You know, it's just it's just the way the tournament is. And but you can't win if you're not here. And I'm very thankful for what this team went through. And I mean, I've said that a couple different times, and that I really appreciate what this team has done, because there were several stages of this season where it didn't look like we had a really good opportunity to get here, whether it was the Clemson loss down there or the Pittsburgh game down there where we got handled, Duke where we got, you know, there was a lot of stages. But I think the grit and determination of this team best shows because they were able to win the Bryant game and the Buffalo game. And, you know, we were out of those two games. And if we lost those two games, we wouldn't be talking here today. So I give this team a lot of credit for everything that's happened to them. And, you know, losing Boeheim was a big loss, and just a learning experience for everybody during the course of the year. I'm really proud that this team has an opportunity to play here.
Next question is from Anthony DeBundo.
Anthony DeBundo, the Daily Orange. Coach Dutcher said that he thought this event could almost be determined by how well teams handle the quarantine and kind of bubble lifestyle of living out of the hotel. How do you feel like your team's prepared for it, and do you agree with him on that?
Well, I think it's, you know, this is what we've done all year. I mean, it's been very similar. I mean, this is a little more extreme, but, you know, this is what teams have done. And, you know, Friday night, the team that plays the best is going to win the game. And I don't think it'll hinge on whether we were in the bubble or out of the bubble or flew in here and just played the game. I think the team that plays the best is going to win the game Friday night.
We have time for two more questions. The first is from John Kikas.
Hey, Jim. John Kikas, Associated Press. Considering the venue, how meaningful is it to be playing there?
Well, I think in Hinkle, you know, I think we're going over there. I haven't been in the building in a while. I have been in the building. It's a great place, great place to play. It'll be great to play there. And, you know, just playing in this tournament's great right now. I mean, that's what we're keyed in on, really.
And our last question is from Matthew Schianiti. Thank you. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's Matthew Schianiti from TSN. Coach, just quickly on Quincy, how has he earned your trust this season with his offense, and what do you expect out of him during the tournament?
Well, he's a tremendous player, and I think his shooting has gotten significantly better. I think, you know, obviously he helps us inside tremendously, but he helps our team when he can make a perimeter shot too. It's a big boost for us, and he's proven that he can, you know, he's not there yet, but I think he's going to be a really, really good shooter. I think he's moving in that direction. It's just not quite there yet. But I remember Demetrius Nichols when he was younger, he shot about 17 or 18%, and he ended up shooting 38, 40% from the three after he got a couple years in. And I really think Quincy's he's a tremendous player. He's had a tremendous year, rebounding-wise. Defensively, he's gotten better every game. And, I think he can really get better even around the going to the basket, because he didn't do that. I mean, he's just done it since he's been with us. So Coach Autry's really worked hard with him, and he's gotten better. But he's got a huge upside in terms of being able to get to the basket and being around the basket. And his three-point shooting will get significantly better in time. But he's had a great year, but he's got a lot more in him. I mean, he can be an All-American player. He just keeps doing what he's doing.
Great, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.